Welcome! My name is Lisa Bartle, and I am one of the librarians at the FAO Library. This video for our faculty explains Affordable Learning Solutions, ALS, and Open Educational Resources, OER, and how they can implement these resources into their classes. I am using this LibGuide as the outline for the video. Naturally, I can't cover everything, so don't hesitate to reach out to me, Lisa Bartle, lbartle@csusb.edu, and we can talk further in a Zoom appointment or by other means. You might know that textbook costs are high, but you may not know how bad it is. This chart from a 2014 Huffington Post article shows that while the Consumer Price Index has increased 250% since 1978, and medical services have increased 373% in the same period, textbook costs have increased 812%. This overwhelming cost increase has created a student culture where textbooks are too expensive and are not considered a necessity to students, especially economically disadvantaged students. If you were considering changing your textbook, what can you do? Check the FAO Library Catalog, OneSearch, Books and Media, CSUSB. It may be that we already own a good book, electronic or otherwise. A colleague may have used it as a textbook and we purchased it. For example, here is an e-book that the FAO Library purchased. As it is a purchase rather than part of an ebook subscription, it will never go away. And you can see that it has a license for unlimited users. All your students can access this title and download chapters at the same time with no page limits. Here is another e-textbook that the library purchased. This one has a limit of 3 simultaneous users. It also has a daily page download limit per student of 94 pages. The interface allows chapter-level downloads where students can get in and out quickly without interfering with each other. Some books we do not own, but have through a subscription. This example has unlimited users, but may disappear without notice because we don't own it. I have 2 messages in showing you these examples. First, check the OneSearch catalog using the Books and Media CSUSB drop-downs for items we own that you might want to use. Second, that ebooks are complicated, so please don't hesitate to contact me with your questions about a book if you are considering it as an alternative for your class. But it's not in OneSearch Books and Media CSUSB. What if you want a book we don't own? Can the library purchase it as an ebook, and under what terms? Of course, you can always ask me about that book. Or, if you like to be very hands-on, you could go into the FAO Library's primary purchasing system, GoB3. Here's the information to get in. While you cannot purchase anything, you can check to see what we could purchase if we have the funds. In this example, you can see there is a paper copy we could purchase, and there is an ebook copy. There are a few licenses available from 1 simultaneous user to 3 simultaneous users to unlimited simultaneous users. Don't worry about nonlinear, as I won't buy those. Under the heading Library Availability, you can see it says contract on file. That's good. That's what we want to see. If it says contract not on file, we cannot purchase that ebook. Here is an example of a textbook that we could not purchase. Limiting to ebooks, there are 2 records, one for the 6th edition and one for the 7th. On the 6th edition, it says, there are no purchase options currently available for this ISBN. For the 7th, it says, unavailable in your country. And who is the publisher? Cengage. But Lisa, you might say, I know an ebook exists, but I can't find it in this system. Some publishers are building their ebook business solely on consumer purchases and do not allow libraries to purchase their ebooks at all. These publishers often include Pearson, Cengage, McGraw-Hill, Oxford University Press, among others. In addition, popular fiction and nonfiction and many health science texts are only available at the consumer level. So far, we've looked at finding books the library already owns or can access. We've looked at the GoB3 ordering system that you can access to explore if we can purchase the item in paper or as an ebook. Or you can always ask me. Tell me about OER. Looking at the Affordable Learning Solutions LibGuide, there's a list of top-tier websites for open educational resources. In this case, they are complete electronic textbooks for free. Some sites create them, such as Rice University's OpenStax collection, while others attempt to gather them, such as the Open Textbook Library. OpenStax has gained traction over the last 10 years, so we now have classes at CSUSB using an OpenStax textbook. These are peer-reviewed, openly licensed, and 100% free in ebook format. OpenStax is strong in math, business, and the social sciences. The humanities are not represented on this platform outside of history. But Lisa, you might be saying, one of the reasons I use this textbook is the test bank and other features from the publisher. OpenStax can help there too. If you get a free account, you must use your CSUSB email account as they manually verify all instructor account requests to ensure the security of the instructor-only resources. Once you have a free account and you've been verified, you can then gain access to instructor resources, which includes materials such as PowerPoint slides, instructor answer guides, a test bank, and activities other professors have used with that textbook. I won't cover all the resources on this part of the LS Guide, but if you are interested in changing your textbook, a buzz by each of these sites would be time well spent. Free digital resources. Moving on, I want to share 2 important sister sites for free digital resources. One is Merlot, and the other is Cool4Ed. Merlot is a CSU site that gathers and peer reviews open educational resources, from electronic textbooks to modular digital materials suitable for a single lecture or unit in your class. This site indexes OpenStax, MIT, and others, so if you wanted a one-stop location tailored to the CSU, this is it. From the Merlot homepage, I like to go into the Materials area, which provides an advanced search. I will use the keyword search literature, because OpenStax didn't do well in literature. Perhaps Merlot will do better. set it for college-level material, and select Open Access Textbook. Though you can see there are many types of materials to choose from. There are a few choices. Several of them have a high editor rating or a high user rating. Returning to the main Merlot page, the ISBN search is quite interesting. You can put in the textbook you are using, and it will make suggestions. Now, it's not an absolute one-to-one correspondence. Here is an ISBN for a book for a Japanese language class on campus called 250 Essential Japanese Kanji. When I put the ISBN in the search, it offers some Japanese language materials. Either of those searches make for a fun way to explore Merlot and find either a textbook or modular digital materials for a unit, week, or lecture. What is Cool for Ed? Cool for Ed is a sister site to Merlot. While Merlot is a CSU site, Cool for Ed is a project that supports the CSU, the UC, and the California community colleges. The best way to explore this site is either through the Faculty Showcase tab or the Course Showcase tab. The Faculty Showcase allows you to choose broad categories. I'll choose Social Science. You can see the faculty member, the text they're using, and some comments from them. As I scroll down, there are 2 professors from CSUSB using materials from Cool for Ed. If we take a peek at the Course Showcase, you can choose your discipline, then a class that most closely matches yours. I'll choose economics, then macroeconomics. There are 3 books. The OER Commons excels in the modular chunks you could assign to students that I've mentioned previously. At their homepage, I will choose the subject Physical Science and the education level, College, Upper Division. On the results screen, we can limit on the left. I'll choose Physics. You see a collection of web pages, textbooks, and other materials that might be worth reviewing to include in your course. The Open Educational Sites tab contains links to entire courses available for free online. Instead of a textbook chapter, you could assign a Yale lecture covering the topic that you don't have time to cover, or they could act as material for a flipped classroom environment. I've watched several of these courses and find them too enjoyable not to include as a resource when you are moving away from standard textbooks. The last tab, covering Creative Commons licensing, is not something to worry about. It is just something I want you to know exists. Creative Commons licensing costs no money. It is a declaration of the rights users have when using the work. It generally allows you to remix, distribute, and tweak other people's work as long as you cite the source you are using or started with before you made the changes. It might be necessary to understand the details if you decide in the future to create your own material, either a module or an entire textbook. Don't hesitate to ask me or visit creativecommons.org for more information. This concludes this video on affordable learning solutions and open educational resources. Thank you for watching.